Good morning, good afternoon, good day from where you're watching us from across the globe. It's another day that God has allowed us to come to you with a message, with an engagement, with a conversation that will be a blessing to you. My name is Susan Kibe. I am born again. I love Jesus. I am a product of grace. And I normally say that Susan is one girl that God has really showered mercy. And I think today I have that testimony in the studio because I am not alone. I am joined by a friend of mine. And this friend of mine, I met her when I had come out of the counterfeit marriage. You guys remember the counterfeit marriage from the book? So when I had left the counterfeit marriage, one of the places I ran to for shelter, for healing, for learning, for engaging, and to find myself, that is where I met my guest today. And I will be having a discussion with her about a topic that is in our day-to-day lives. And that is a topic on dating, and we are dealing with it on the Christian space. So I'll allow my guest to introduce herself, tell us who she is, how she is here, and what are her expectations. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Sue. It's good to see you again after a long time. And you reminded me something of how we met. Oh, yeah. My goodness, that was quite a foundation for us, and how God connects people in different spaces. And then you see like there's a break and then you reconnect again. So that tells me God never connects people for nothing, Yeah, so my name is Anne Joseph, and I am born again. And I love God so much. And I am a professional administrator and personal assistant, currently working in the marketplace. And above that, I am a licensed pastor. I was ordained at Christ for the Nation Institute in Dallas, Texas. And I love ministering to people and working with them. And of course, I love dealing with children. Currently, I'm working around children, which has been a very good space for me. And so, yes, and then I do my Moments with God on Facebook, which is part of my ministry where I post devotionals for people to be ministered to. My Moments with God is simply to help people practically live God's word. It's that simple. How to literally live God's word practically. Yes, so that's Anne. Yes.
Amazing. So it's good to have you here, Pastor
Yes,
Anne. And I know just what you said, something very important.
Yeah.
God does not, our paths do not cross by mistake.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how often we speak or do not speak.
Yes.
I think what really matters is the end goal.
Yes.
And I believe that what we are about to discuss today is one of the end goals.
End goals. End goal.
Well,
yes.
Because dating in the Christian circles has been quite a puzzle for some of us.
Yes.
And I remember there's a time, personally, me too, with a friend of mine, I remember we had this meme.
Yes.
But now she's also already married. And I remember we had gone through a series of from one to the other, know. And one day we saw a meme on Facebook that we shared just between the two of us. At how some people are very lucky to meet one guy, they date and they get married, and they continue with life.
Yes.
And it said that some of us have to date all the sons of Pharaoh. So you know what that means for you.
Yes.
There is heartbreak in between.
Yes.
There is pain.
Yes.
Sometimes you have wasted time.
Yes.
Sometimes it even shakes your faith.
Yes.
So I'll be wondering,
yes.
How come I didn't see that?
Yes.
How come I ended up there? Why didn't I see,
Yeah, why
and
did
so
I see?
I don't know what you think about dating in the Christian space and where we find ourselves at nowadays, even with the young people.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure whether it is not being talked about enough.
Yes.
Or probably we assume, see, we are born again.
Yes.
We are in church.
Yes.
And this brother comes to our church.
Yes.
So we can as well just connect.
We can as well just connect and move on.
I don't know what you feel about that.
Yes. So I will first answer you what you said about some people go through so much before they settle. And what I've learned in this life, our purpose and design is very different. And God designed our purpose in a very different way. Some people, their purpose meant quickly in, quickly move on. time.
Yeah.
Some people, because of the purpose God has for them, it takes a little time. It's something you call at the end, you become a wounded healer.
Yeah.
Yes, and whatever you are going through, God has a way of putting the pieces together. And we don't understand that God works all things for our good.
Yeah.
And because he loves you and he's called you according to his purpose. So there's that aspect of purpose. So, and sometimes we feel that way because we are comparing. Kwani, me God, what is it with me that is not in the other person?
Yes.
Do you have favorism? But God doesn't have favorism. It's an issue of purpose and design. And once you settle that and understanding that God has a good plan for you and it's good, God never does us wrong. It's a good purpose. You will settle. What you will do when those things happen, you sit down with God and process them. And then you walk through the journey of healing and you realize, wait a minute, after some years, so that's why I went through this, so that God can use this to build many. Because God is like a constructor, he's like a builder. He builds, and sometimes he builds through pain. And because we are a microwave generation, with faster, your gorofa, it has to go quickly.
Yeah.
You forget the foundation, and that's why sometimes you see the buildings falling. And so your purpose has to have a foundation in it, the foundation of God, the foundation of trials, the foundation of persecution, and then he builds through that. Then you become a whole person. So now let's go to the dating in the Christian circles.
In the Christian circle.
Now, one of the mistakes that we make as Christians is forgetting sometimes, just because someone goes to church and does all this Christian activity does not translate to them being a disciple.
Tell me about it.
Does not translate being a disciple. So sometimes you'd say yes to a person, one, because they come to church, they are serving, they are sweeping the church, they are carrying the pastor's Bible, they are always in the circles of pastors. Secondly, you will say yes to them because you're feeling like you see them every day. But you're forgetting is what they are doing, translating them to being a disciple. And a disciple is being Christ-like. Have you observed their character? Outside everything, have you observed their character? And sometimes you'll say yes to them because the pastor said, this is the right person for you. Which sometimes it's okay. But you also need to know the person for yourself. So sometimes we go wrong because we say yes to a person because of their religious activities, but we don't observe the discipleship aspect. Jesus said, you shall know them by their fruits, not their powerful prayer life, not their powerful carrying the Bible. No. You need time when you're dating to observe this person's character. And the fruits are, loving, forgiveness, all this, patience. How are this person inwardly, in their hearts? How are they? Are they kind? Are they forgiving? Do they give you silent treatment? Because if they give you silent treatment, it means they're struggling with forgiveness. Yes. Have they processed the experiences they've gone through in life? Who are they when they were a child? If they lost their parents, did they process this? If they have experienced difficult losses in their lives, have they processed this? It's important to have a spiritual pastor, and it's also good to have a Christian therapist. Process throughout all these things, discuss them. But now in dating what happens, we focus so much on the love aspect. I love you, the text messages, and the emotions, the flowers. We forget to ask the hard questions. Who are you outside your status? Sometimes we fall in love with the status of the person. But who is this person outside their status, outside them being a CEO, outside them being a manager, outside them being a PA of a pastor, outside? Who is this person that Sue or Anne is meeting? Who are you, Jacob? Who are you? And so dating is to allow you an opportunity to observe the character of the person. And then you make a decision based on the character of the person.
And I think you said something very important, which actually I don't think we consider. by the time we are looking at, oh, childhood trauma, what happened to you when you were a child, probably you have been raised in a dysfunctional family, and you did not realize that the absence of a father in your life has affected how probably you treat women, or how you react towards men.
Exactly.
By the time you're realizing, we are already in a mess.
We're already in a mess.
We are already hurting.
Yes.
So now we are trying to check, where did we miss it?
Yes.
So I'm just here and trying to understand, is that something that, like when we are getting to know each other, I have met this gentleman and now we are getting to know each other. Even before we agree we are dating, as we are building our relationship and the friendship.
Yes.
I think, okay, but you won't go like you're probing someone, you know. But as we are just getting to know each other, I think what I'm getting as you speak is that there are things we should be picking from. These are and then you say now we put our best foot forward. Because I'm portraying this very good picture. So I think the secret is to pick these things from our conversations. So that at the back of my mind, I know I'm dealing with probably a guy who did not grow up with a mother. Or did not grow up with a father. Or probably their family, there are those families where the space was not very peaceful. The environment was maybe violent. So as I'm picking that as we talk, so at the back of my mind, it's like I already know what we are. We are going to process, or where we need help. But do you think it is something easy, like in the Christian setup? Because you see now we all come with this Christianese, born again, you know, Holy Spirit filled. We are conquering everything. And sometimes I feel like we put aside reality. And now we want to, as much as we live by faith, God has also given us wisdom. That's what I believe. I believe God has given us wisdom, even to be able to pick these things and know what to deal with. So do you think the gap is in here where we are getting to know each other? We ignore or just blind what either we are hearing, or even these things. Some people come and feeling, oh, this guy may be like this, but I will pray for him. You know, I believe he can change. You know, I have faith he will change. And because both of you do not see maybe the need for therapies, or for even counseling in another level, because by the time even you are presenting ourselves to church for premarital classes, even the church will assume these things we have already discussed. The church will not start asking you about childhood trauma. So would you say that is the basic assignment for us as we get to know each other with the friend I meet and I encounter? In our earlier discussions, you know, when everything is just being laid on the table. Is that the time to pick these things and know where we need help? And because also something else, I would never know I need help. Because I'm okay.
You're okay.
Looking at me, I'm fine. Look at you, you're fine. Hey, you're well dressed, you're smart. Your conversations are intact. So most times you also really don't know we need help. So would you say that here where we are, oh hi, how are you? Where do you come from? Where is your background? That is the time to pick what we need to pick. And so know where we need to get help and know what we need to address. But I think there are also two sides to it, because you can pick and then you almost become spooky. Because I'm thinking, oh, this guy, the way I'm seeing him is like rotating like this, like a drone. I'm thinking like, this one is going to hurt me because of it. And so I think there are also two ways about it.
There's two ways about it.
You also apply wisdom. And because when I have met this person, our interest is to build friendship and probably have a life together ahead. So I think we also need to come with a lot of understanding, and empathy, so that also I'm not just scrutinizing you and So would you say at this point when we are getting to know each other, that is where it starts?
That's where it starts. And what people need to know about dating, you have to be an authentic and an honest person. You have to overcome your fears, or you're going to lose this person when they discover this and this. I always say a person who is genuine and they really want to spend life with you, they would want the both of you to be whole. They would be willing to walk that journey with you. So that authenticity and honesty is very, very important. And then as someone is sharing this aspect of their lives, you ask God for wisdom and discernment. And by the time you're dealing with this person, there's a way God just tells you, this is it, this is the person. So you can begin the journey with them slowly by slowly and discussing this issue. And one of the way also to know, you see these text messages we write to each other and conversations we have on phone, you can be able to pick whether this person is still struggling with a past issue, and then talk about it. You know, I realized, I felt when you sent this message, there's something that you said. Are you still fearing about loss? Are you still fearing abandonment? How would you like us to approach it as we get to know each other? But this is how people approach things. Sasa, I saw the message you sent me the other day. It's like you still have issues. You know, these are issues you should have dealt with.
You have baggage from your past.
Why do you still have these things at 40-something years? You see, and that's where we apply the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Being understanding, being empathetic. I always say, do to others what you want them to do to you. And how you treat people is a reflection of who you are. So if this is a person you want to spend the rest of your life with, and because it's dating and you're getting to know each other, give space for grace, give space for understanding, and then have conversation on this thing. Hear them out. You know, why are you struggling? For example, they were divorced and they are fearing that the next partner might do to them what the other. Discuss it, talk about it, and then if it is beyond your capacity, that's when you bring a person in. Remember, you love each other and you want to have a whole marriage and a good space for the children you're going to have if you're planning to have children. So if you cannot be honest now, just see 10 years to come, what is going to be happening to the both of you. And good relationships are built in authenticity and honesty, and they are built in wisdom. Love is not enough. There has to be wisdom in it to build it. So those conversations, they are like building blocks, you know, and being empathetic, being kind, you're also giving the other person an opportunity to see the kind of a heart you also have. The other person can also see the kind of a heart you have, and I can also see what the kind of a heart the other person have. So there are many aspects. The aspect of what kind of a heart do you have, and how do you build this together. But most people give up at the beginning because there's a certain picture you're looking for. You're forgetting we are all work in progress. And if this person has an aspect of their lives that are working, you know, they're kind, they have a good relationship with God, why would you give up on them that easily? Why are you not exercising patience? But like I said, we like things moving on quickly. We have social media to please. We have parents to please. We have friends to please. You feel you're in your 40s, nothing is happening, so there's a desperation also chasing you. So you don't have time to listen to someone. You're like, no, I don't have time for that. I think you go sort your mess.
Don't have time to deal with stuff.
You know, and that's how sometimes we lose good people that God brings our way. Yes. Yeah.
You said something about being empathetic and extending grace, and I feel, actually you said two things, that and also when somebody feels like time is running out, which is also a lie from the devil, because who said there's time? This biological clock is our own making. Because by the time you involve that element of I am getting late, time is running out, I feel like you overlook so many things. Because I feel like we need to settle down, we need to, there's no time for process. There is no time to deal with things. And you know, one thing that is very scary, even just to think of it, is that the day you cross that line and say, I do, it's for life.
It's for life.
So I would rather we spend it. It's like foundation. Let's dig the foundation, however deep it goes. Then by the time the building stands, we are sure it will stand and it will be firm. So I feel like sometimes we have that deception of time is running out. So really, I have no time to start childhood. Who hurt you when you are? Why are you still there?
Why are you still there? Wondering. At your 40s. Those are things you should have dealt with.
Yes, you should have dealt with by now. And also sometimes I feel like we get lost even in our lives as Christians. You can get lost in routine. You can get lost in, I like calling it Christianese. That we know we're in church together, we are born again, we are not in the club and all that. Until I forget that I am supposed to also extend grace to the other
Yes.
person.
Yes.
Because how I can probably we didn't even meet in church.
Yes.
Probably I just got born again, I have joined church.
Exactly.
Then I've met someone.
Then you've met
Maybe
someone.
you've had a journey
Yes.
in church before. I am just beginning.
You're just beginning.
Yes. So that is also another area where sometimes we may forget to extend grace, because
Yes.
due to the fact that probably you are born in a good family, your life has been going well.
Yes.
Then this girl comes, she has been in the club, partying left, right, and center. Then you start asking her about body count.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
Maybe her body count is at 40s.
Yes, 40s.
And so you forget that by the time I have given my life to Christ,
Yes.
and I have changed my ways,
Yes.
even the blood has washed.
Yes.
I
Yes.
am okay.
Yes.
But you see, you can overlook and not keep also.
Yes.
It's like now that becomes like a trigger.
Yes.
So anytime a conversation goes, like I'm talking about someone I met in town,
Yes.
it raises
Yes.
something. Oh, these people from your
Yes.
past, you're still.
Yes.
That is the part for extending grace that I have
Yes.
also realized that sometimes we get lost in this I wouldn't want to call it self-righteousness, but
Yes.
I feel like I have everything going.
Yes.
Until I'm not able to understand. Why are you struggling?
Yes. Where are you struggling?
Why is your ex? Why is he even calling you?
Yes.
And probably we just met in town and said hi. Going. But even the hi, according to, I shouldn't say hi.
Yes.
Because you feel like it will drag me to my past.
Yes.
So, and I think I like what you're saying, that by the time we are coming together,
Yes.
there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes.
To unpack
Yes.
where we are coming from.
Yes.
And I feel like, I don't know whether that is my own opinion. I feel like it's an individual journey.
It's an individual journey.
Yeah, like I need to work on me.
Yes.
Then you work on yourself.
Yes.
As this person I'm coming to meet.
Yes.
So by the time you are coming together,
Yes.
even if there are things we are going to do together, I'm not bringing the whole baggage,
baggage
from 1900 until now.
No.
Yeah.
Yes. It's called being a responsible person. One of the things you need to do when you've decided you want now to start getting into the dating scene, you should have decided, like taking the clock backward. Prepare yourself for it. Study books about a wife, study books about submission, study books about emotional health of a woman, study books about submission. Prepare yourself. You know, the things I have gone through as a woman, what are the things I need to do to be a better helpmate to the man that is coming to my life? And you as a man, study books about headship. Study books about being a husband, about being a protector, a provider, a carer. Study books about the emotional health of a man. What are those areas of your life you need to work on? Do you need to see a therapist before you start chasing a girl? Prepare yourself holistically.
Yes.
You are not going to be perfect completely, but at least you would have taken some steps, you know, so that by the time you're meeting this person, it's not like two baggage people meeting together. It's two imperfect people in the journey of transformation and wholeness, because there are things we continuously work on. It's just like discipleship. It's a learning process of transformation, and it needs patience. So you're not coming with everything. You're coming like you're still growing. You're still growing. So it's very important for you to prepare yourself. We don't like that preparation place because it's work, and we don't like being alone. People don't understand the power of solitude, which also Jesus used to do. He used to step aside and go for solitude. You know, solitude builds you up emotionally. Solitude calls you to a personal conference to see, Anne, why are you still struggling with unkindness? What's the root of this unkindness? What happened to you? Why are you still struggling with being needy? You know, being desperate? Why are you struggling? Jane, why are you still struggling with this thing? Being in solitude helps you now to put them down. I think I'm struggling with this. I need to process this. I need to work on them. And then you begin to become whole. You know, even when God sees that obedience aspect in you, as you're doing it also prayerfully, telling you God will heal you and make you so whole. There's so much power in solitude and so much power in obedience. So it's very important to have that solitude and call yourself to that little conference all the time. Don't fear being alone. There's so much power in being in solitude. And this I'm saying for both men and women. Learn how to have solitude by yourself, alone moments by yourself. I usually call them sanity packs. You know, have a sanity pack of solitude. Apart from being, you know what happens when you are all over, and the way the world is noisy now with social media, with TV, with everything, what happens, it gives you a false sense of affirmation that you are okay. But when you're alone, there are no people. You're by yourself. You're seeing clearly with the word of God before you and prayers. So you see clearly. So let's go back to that body count issue. How many body counts did the Samaritan woman have?
Hey!
Yes. How was Jesus' conversation with the woman?
With the woman,
He told her, if you knew who I am, you will come and take the living water. Meaning, Jesus was simply telling the Samaritan woman, I know your life. I got you. But now, I want you to come and experience transformation. I am not worried. In fact, Jesus was so humorous. So even the one you have right now, it's not yours. So I don't know why we get surprised when we meet messy people. And we're supposed to be a reflection of God. I don't know why that should shock you. We live in a broken world. And as a Christian, our work is to bring them back to the space of God. So when someone comes and they're already walking the journey of God, I don't think it's so good to go back to that body count issue unless they have a disease that needs to be discussed. I think you should encourage them and affirm them that you made the best decision ever, and now begin to see them through the eyes of God.
Wow. And I think that is why when we said about the work that is involved, it's a lot of work that people do not want to get their hands dirty. You want a woman that is made perfect. With,
my goodness, good to the
packets,
and a lady who
all the packs, 6
and
packs,
for the men, she wears high heels, skinny. Put together,
very nice figure and modest and all that. So I think it's really a call to even be alert and sober in our own journey as Christians and understand that even in the space of dating, we are reflecting Jesus. That is what has come out very clearly. That we are reflecting Jesus. And this person who has come in my life, that they should see a reflection of Christ in me, so that they can also, both of us now be working towards being Christ-like. So I feel like this is something that we need part 2.
Part 2.
You know, because I feel like really we have just scratched the surface. But I really love the input you have brought forth. And before we wind up, I know our time is almost but before we wind up, there's something you said about the alone time. And I remember reading an article where a lady was saying she does not remember being alone. Like she moved from her parents' house to, she got married. I think she had like 2 failed marriages, or 2 or 3, I can't remember. So this is not, now after the second one or the third one failed, this is the time she has been alone. And she was saying how fulfilling it is, and not she can be able to reflect on the mistakes that have happened before. So I also want to encourage even our viewers, you know, that being alone is not a disadvantage. Actually, it's a time where you have all the time to work on yourself, reflect on who you are, and be so self-aware that by the time you're allowing someone else into your space, you're good. So you can be able to tell, by the way, I have anger issues from here to Timbuktu and back. So if I don't deal with me, I will affect the other person. And so I believe that you have gotten some tips on dating in the Christian space, and that where things have not gone well, that now you have some things to pick and correct. And for you who is getting into dating, there is a hope, and you are not late. There is no time. With God, there is no time, but not because you are 40, you are late. No. And so I believe you have learned, and we look forward to engaging with you. Any questions you'd have regarding dating, you know, regarding engaging in the Christian spaces and dating in church, please feel free to reach out to us. And I look forward to engaging with you another time. This one is not ending here. I believe that we still have a lot more to unpack. And so until next time, God bless you, and I look forward to hearing from you and seeing your comments. God bless.